take a look at the map of Georgia, if you look at the number of abortions that have happened in our state over the last 4.5 years, most, if not all, of the entire population in these counties are gone due to abortion. Did you hear me? Most, if not all, of the populations in these counties are gone based on the number of abortions. And the number of abortions in 2022 took my breath away. There were 39,064 abortions in Georgia in 2022. 24,967 of them were on pigmented women like me. Melanated women, black women accounted for over 60%, almost 70% of the abortions in our state. In 2021, there were 42,212 abortions in our state, of which 28,225 were on black women. And that number is consistent across the years, across our state. We need something new to happen, and I want to invite Jade Lee to tell us what we need.
Good afternoon. My name is Jade Lee, and I am the founder of Black Woman and Pro-Life, the largest black female organization that stands against abortion in America. Today, I would like to call forth all pastors across the state of Georgia and pastors' wives to get engaged biblically, to stand on the biblical responsibility to stand for those that have been marginalized, that are vulnerable, and that are in need of protection. And who could be more in need of protection than the innocent child, helpless child in the womb? We are concerned that our pastors declare they are personally pro-life, but will not speak publicly for life in the womb. We are concerned that some pastors declare they are pro-choice pastors in the state of Georgia. We are concerned about pastors that hide behind the misconception that this is simply a political issue, when in fact it is a spiritual matter that requires pastoral participation. Pastors have a biblical and a moral responsibility to stand for both righteousness and justice, regardless of political party or belief. There is an uncompromising biblical call to stand for truth, even in the face of losing popularity at the least and persecution at the worst. Indeed, we should have choice and we should have rights, but how far should these rights extend? Do our rights extend to the right to murder the most innocent among us? Should our rights include being given the choice to commit the horrendous act of piercing an innocent child in the head, killing the very imago Dei, the image of God, before he or she has the ability to come into this world? And why is it that African Americans are the highest aborted community in our nation? Why is it that Planned Parenthoods are disproportionately placed in African American and Latino communities? Did you know that 62% of Planned Parenthood surgical abortion facilities are within walking distance 2 miles of relatively high Black and Latino populations? Abortion is in fact the #1 killer of African Americans, not heart disease, not homicide, not AIDS, HIV, or cancer, but abortion. Amongst all other glaring stats in our community, abortion is the #1 challenge. What has now become labeled as a political issue is indeed a human rights issue. It's an ethical issue. And for pastors and pastors' wives, it is a biblical issue, especially amongst the clergy. Over 20 million Black babies have been aborted on our watch since the 1973 ruling of Roe v. Wade. We are here today to protect Black and white and Hispanic and Asian and any color unborn babies and their mothers. We agree with Dr. Dolores Greer that abortion is racism. We agree with the late Dr. Mildred Jefferson that abortion is a new slavery. We agree with Fannie Lou Hamer that abortion is genocide. It is not a nameless genocide. It has a name, and it is happening in our cities every single day. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, who was born, raised, and educated in this great state of Georgia, declared a speech where he had a dream. And in his dream, he eloquently penned the words, "Though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It's a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood." Dr. King dreamed of a day where his 4 little children would one day live in a nation where they would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. But how can this dream be realized if these children are never even given the opportunity to see the light of day? I'm calling forth pastors. We are coming together to implore pastors and ministers to stop complying and compromising. Be a voice like those that have exemplified being a voice for those that are going through injustice before you. We are asking that you boldly take a stand for life. Today, we agree with the request that leaders like Senator Raphael Warnock talk to the woman who had an abortion years ago, like the one that we just heard, the heartbreaking testimony of women who have lost their ability to conceive children, who have been abused and, dare we say, even murdered in these abortion mills and killing centers, who still regret and agonize the decisions that they made. Talk to the former Planned Parenthood workers who with many tears will describe the evil of their past profession. Or better still, stand next to the remains of more than 60 million babies. The tiny limbs and eyes and feet and fingers and brains and hearts with a disproportionate percentage of those remains being black, and say, "I'm a pro-choice pastor." And do this in the sight of a holy God who loves life, who loves justice, and cares for the least of these. My brothers and sisters, we have been sold into genocide by our own. Our wombs have been colonized. Our churches have been targeted. There is no more space for compromise. It is time to take a stand. There is a better way to stand for justice and peace, and we must take that path. In conclusion, Frederick Douglass wisely said, "Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave." May we be filled so greatly with knowledge that our community breaks out of these cycles of slavery once and for all. Together, we must take a stand.